The Bulldog, Donny Banks, is known as one of the toughest, most physical riders in ATV racing all time. He had a large stature, was a strong rider that the tougher the track got, the better he performed. He won multiple Mickey Thompsons, I think 2 Mickey Thompson championships, maybe even more. I know he won the Score Off-Road World Championship in Riverside. He was also a dominant figure in the late 80s in the Golden State Nationals in California. I met up with him at the ATV Legends race in Ashtabula, Ohio, talked to him about racing back in the day, how he started, how his progression worked going from 3-wheelers to 4-wheelers and becoming a champion, and where he saw the sport now. At the time, he was actually owner of Capital Cycles and owned 2 tracks and was very prominent in ATV racing.
My name's Donny Banks. Nicknames that I had they used to call me the Bulldog, and I'm from Macon, Georgia.
All right. Give me some background on you in ATV racing. Like, I know you've won quite a few championships. What major races and championships have you won?
I won the Score Off-Road World Championship in '88. Won the Mickey Thompson in '88. I won the Arena Cross Championship like '87, '88, '89. I won the California Golden State Championship in '87, '88, and '89. And I think that's about it.
Okay, what do you do now?
On a Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Sea-Doo, Cannondale, KTM dealership, Macon, Georgia, and also own 2 racetracks, Chicani Off-Road Park and Paradise Off-Road Park, and partners with Mark Barnett on one of them.
How'd you get started racing ATVs?
I got started racing, well, actually what I did is I was racing motorcycles and I had an accident and hurt my knee. And so I started, it's a long story the way it started, but I started riding in the creek with some guys on 3-wheelers. Actually started as a bet. They said I couldn't beat them through the creek on a motorcycle. And I just blew them away on the motorcycle. And then I rode one of the guys' 3-wheeler and I said, well, it's pretty fun. And so I kind of started riding with them a little bit in the creek on 3-wheelers. Then I hurt my knee racing motorcycles. So since you don't have to take your foot off of ATV, I started racing 3-wheelers, and then when the 4-wheelers came out, and then it all went there.
Out of all the different bikes that you've ridden, 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers, what's the favorite bike that you've ever ridden?
Shane Hitt's bagged out practice bike. Most of the stuff Shane's got, this practice bikes are 10 times better than anything I ever raced on.
All right. Now I know you've got some wild stories in your time. What's your wildest racing story?
All ironic, in the pits or
whatever you want to throw out there.
Probably at the
there's a few you probably can't tell.
Yeah, there's some I can't tell. One of them at the Score Off-Road in Riverside, California, Riverside Raceway. My mechanic, Jeff Springman, there's a big old long triple down there. I mean, it's just way long. I said, Jeff, I think I can jump that thing. He said, man, don't jump that thing. I said, I know I can make it. I can make it. He said, don't jump that damn thing. So I jumped in practice, wadded it up. I mean, I blew up A-arms, axles, swing arms, everything. We had to go back to the shop and get a practice bike, bring it out, and we had to start doctoring up. But in the race, I ended up jumping that triple, and that helped me win the race.
I was at that race.
Well,
I remember
Finley wadded it up, and
Jared Hamilton did, and I think Marty did too.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
That took a lot of guys out.
I don't know if any of them ever jumped after that, did they?
You were the only guy jumping it, I think, and it was like you had a huge lead.
Yeah.
And you're jumping at every lap. I'm like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
But
there's some other wild stories.
You pulled it off.
That was one of the wildest.
Now, well, you've kind of been still racing a little bit, but how is it getting back out here with a lot of the guys you used to race against?
Oh man, this weekend's been a blast. You know, like back when you race with them, you all kind of stay a little distant and all. You know, you're not really really close, but now everybody kind of cuts up and tells old stories about what all we used to do. stuff like that. It's been a fun weekend, real fun weekend. Hashing out all the time.
What's the difference between racing back then, when you were kind of in your prime, versus racing now?
I think mainly the equipment. I mean, I trained as hard as anybody back then, and I always had ready equipment. I always did good on motocross because I wasn't smart enough to set up a TT bike and didn't know how to tell somebody what to do, what my suspension needed to do. I just kind of made it work, but I just trained real hard back then. I'm sure a lot of these guys train the equipment so much better now. Just when the TT bikes stick like glue and the motocross bikes handle rough stuff, I mean, just unbelievable. So I think probably the difference between now and then probably the equipment.
All right. Other than yourself, who's the best ATV rider that you've ever seen?
There's a lot of. I mean, like a lot of them had their primes and had what they were good at. Denton was real good at TTs. He always was good at TTs. My specialty was rougher the better. The worse the elements, the worse the heat. It was better. Marty Hart. I'd say back in the early days when I started riding three-wheelers, me and Gentry had the biggest battles. And we always wished Marty would have been there because they said he was the best. But we'd race Gainesville, Atlanta Stadium, and Daytona, and everybody came up and said, I don't know how fast Marty is, but you can't go any faster than what you guys are going on three-wheelers. We were always swapping moto wins, and me and Gentry had battles. I was the big, strong brute. He was a little skinny guy that, just finessed. I probably had the most battles with Gentry than anybody.
All right. Where do you see the sport of ATV racing going?
Well, I mean, I hope it's going to grow. It needs some good, strong support, like the new promoters, the guys that are getting together, trying to move it to the next level, the Howards and Nacarados and stuff like that. I think if they can get some support, and the AMA will get behind them or whoever and raise the level, and the videos are definitely helping, bring the sport to the public so they'll know what's going on and get out there. I think it's going. I mean, I think it's going to go up. Back in 85, 87, at the Red Lens, I mean, it was just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rides. And I mean, I don't know how many riders here today. It's a big turnout, but it's going. I think it's going in a good direction.
All right. So, what did you think about what the Bulldog had to say? Some comments below. Also, let me know, what do you want to see out of this channel? What do you think about these interviews? Some of these ATV legends. I also want you to check out other interviews from riders like Marty Hart, Jimmy White, Curtis Sparks, Dean Sundahl. I've got them all from this event. So if you like this, I think you're going to enjoy those. Make sure and check them out.